Hey, everybody. Josh Morris here with the Everything Paranormal Show. And joining me tonight is my very good friends with SRS Paranormal. Hey, guys, how's it going tonight?
Hey, Josh, how are you?
Hey. All right. So, for those of you that, look, if you follow my channel, you know that we work really close with SRS Paranormal. I would imagine that anybody watching probably, you should know who these folks are by now. But if not, definitely we're going to start up at the top with Matt. Matt, if you want to let everybody know a little bit about yourself real quick, we'll just kind of go around and y'all can introduce yourself and what you do and what you bring to the team.
Well, first off, Josh, thanks for having us on again tonight. It's always a pleasure to come on and talk with you. Like you said, we work together a lot. It's been great over the last at least year or so. We've gotten really close and gotten to work with you quite a bit. You and Terry Lynn are great people, and we really enjoy getting to interact with you guys and spend time with you. My name's Matt Sorge. I'm founder of SRS Paranormal. I've been a paranormal investigator for about 15 years. Started out as a hardcore skeptic, and now I'm a believer that still has a healthy dose of skepticism, trying to find earthly explanations to the experiences that we have. Spiritually, my journey has changed quite a bit. I've opened up a lot thanks to the lovely ladies on the bottom there. Rhonda was very instrumental in starting me on that journey. Hello, Terry Lynn. So that's a little bit about me. I'll shut up now and let the real stars of my team talk.
Al?
Well, my name's Al James, and I'm the case manager with SRS. Also do a little investigating as well. I joined the team about 5 years ago. Me and Matt's been friends for over 25 years, so he kind of found out that he was into it and asked to tag along one time, and then they just started from there. So.
And he says a little bit of investigating, but he's the one we got dragged kicking and screaming away from the locations. It's like, okay, Al, look, it's time to go. It's time to leave.
Oh, Christina, how about you? We'll go around the horn here.
Okay, I'm Christina Bowen. I joined the team, I guess, about a year ago now, and I've been investigating the paranormal 15, 16 years. As a professional photographer, I am the photographic analysis person. I have been doing that particular task with a few other teams. I've been with TAPS, was one of their first photo analysts. So that's my primary function.
Awesome. Rhonda, how about yourself?
I am lead psychic. I joined last May, and Matt and I had worked together, and Al and Kevin, several times at the Nickerson Singh House, and doing various experiments with the spiritualist side and the tech side that they had, and we kind of just it kind of meshed well, and they invited me to join, and I thought this is a good fit. But I have been reading since I was 19. I've had paranormal experiences as long as I can remember.
Yes, awesome. And so I do want to go back to Matt, because since you are the founder, also, can you fill us in on the this is not just the team. You have more people. So could you kind of fill us in a little bit and let the folks know?
Yeah, absolutely. Our team, like all teams, you start with one group of people, and things change and things evolve and life changes and people come in and out. And I think it's all part of a process of finding your people, right? I mean, I think that's really what happens. And I can honestly say that I have found my people, my power family, and I love each and every one of these people. And I would just not do this with anybody else. These are the greatest people I get the privilege of working with all the time. And it's not work. It's really a very special journey. But one of our lead investigators is Kevin King. He actually joined right after Al. Him and Al were high school friends. They grew up pretty much together, and early days of playing with Ouija boards and cemeteries and all that good stuff. And they got some stories that, well, it'd probably be a different show if we went into some of those stories. But they've got a really good connection, and they brought him in. He had been independently investigating for about 10 years. He travels a lot with his business. So he had been to the old Washoe Club. He had been to, Alcatraz. I mean, all kinds of places all over the country. And he had 10 years, experience under his belt before he came to us. He's big into ITC research. That's really his cup of tea. That's what his focus is on. And that's what I love about this team. Everybody's got their niche. Everybody's got their little piece that they bring to the table that just completes the whole package for us. Then we've got, I'm sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No, I just said, oh yeah. Well, and I will interject because Kevin is like one of the only guys, like I've known you guys, it'll be coming up on a year soon. And I still haven't even met the guy, I don't think. I don't think he's ever anywhere around yet. He's like the one member that's like I've never met.
Kevin, he's very busy. He's an entrepreneur. He's very, very, very busy guy. He goes on the road a lot with us on big cases. He comes out with us on residential work sometimes. He doesn't always make it to all the public events and all the things because his calendar stays so full. But he does weigh in. He does look at evidence behind the scenes. He's done several interviews and things like that. There's other stuff that he works on.
I think he exists because I did see him in a video once.
And his bio is on our website, so it is really true. We actually have evidence clips with Kevin.
I've seen
He's not our best friend.
He's a real guy. Yeah,
he really exists. And then we have Nikita Fox Boggs, who is Rhonda's daughter. She's a very talented psychic medium. She also does psychometry, which, if your viewers don't know what that is the ability to pick up an object and connect with the energy and the person that handled the object. So she can use mediumship through objects, which is a really, really interesting thing. And that's where she's got a little bit different gifts than Rhonda, which also enhances the team even further. Nice. She also does mirror scrying. She's very, very talented at that. That's an art form within itself. So she brings a whole nother set of skills to the table. And then we have the fabulous Michelle Woods, who is, we always say, our first groupie. She was a big fan of ours and came to a lot of our publics. I'm giving her a hard time because she's not here to defend herself. But she came to a lot of our publics and she was really interested. She was just so engaged in what we were teaching and had so many questions. And it was a genuine passion. It was, you could just see it. So we just decided that, we needed to invite her in and see if we could help her learn. And she went from being a trainee to a full-fledged member of our team now. So, and then we have our own
navigator and road trip partner.
and there is that, because let me just interject this. If you ever ride with Christina, I would have my last will and testament in order. I would have all my affairs straightened out.
You're still here, aren't you? You're still here.
Sal's the only one that's brave enough to ride with you, Christina.
The only navigator you have.
Still one, but she's a great navigator with me. She just hangs to London.
I mean, I think Christina's. What is your record from here to St. Augustine, Florida? From East Tennessee to St. Augustine, Florida. Yeah, see what I'm saying? 7 hours.
Wow.
We need to clear this up now. She's not a bad driver. She's a fast driver.
Thank you.
A bad driver.
No, but we need to clear that up.
7 hours to St. Augustine?
Yeah.
I've been on flights to St. Augustine.
I made like Destin in like 11, and I thought I was doing good.
I've been on air flights that were longer to get to the same distance. I don't know how that works, but those prop planes are not near as fast as Christina is.
Oh my God.
Well, let's just say the GPS ETA is a challenge. It's always, I can do better than that. Yeah.
it's not a goal, right?
Yeah.
She plays beat the clock. No, yeah. she's a great driver. I'm just giving her a hard time. And then our final member of our team is our actually degreed historian. He actually has a degree in that. He went to college for it. And he's an integral part, because when it comes to really researching, we're a team that believes that not just the people that are connected to the property, but every aspect, the land itself, all the history is all part of that process. And having him is an invaluable tool, because there'll even be times during investigations, we'll call him up and say, hey, what about this? And he's like, no, 1800s, they wouldn't have done that. You need to be looking in this time period, because that doesn't make sense. So that really helps us put pieces of the puzzle together. And that's another way that we're blessed with this team. Everybody on this team comes from a different background, different levels of extremely educated people. I mean, We've got two microbiologists, a PhD down there in the bottom corner, and a couple dumb firemen rounding it out. So, I mean, it's all good, right?
Yeah, well, look, and certainly I think everybody plays their part, and that's important. And as firefighters, definitely, we always thank you for your service as first responders. In fact, Terry Lynn and I have made it a mission lately. We've kind of been going around, and anytime we see police or first responders, we've been making it a point to actually pull up and be like, hey, and they'll roll down their window and be like, thank you for your service. We support you.
Thank you, guys. That's awesome.
Publicly putting that out there. I don't care who hears that. So, because we believe in our first responders, whether it's police, fire, ambulance, anybody like that. It's always incredible what you guys do on that. So, back to paranormal.
Yes.
So, if you have a mission statement of the direction of what you guys are going for, what would it be?
Honestly, I think it is just to elevate this community and to seek the truth, as you say yourself. That's something that we both have collectively share that sentiment. We just want to get to the truth of what's going on, not jump to irrational conclusions, and help people. At the end of the day, it's elevating this community and helping people. I don't know what that would sound like as a mission statement, other than we just really want to help people and elevate this community.
Yeah,
guys, you agree with that?
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And so the road to getting there, okay, of how you get there, you guys tend to combine a little bit of everything. So could you talk a little bit about your combining of your modern techniques with your spiritualism and things like that? Because I think that's really cool what you guys do on that.
Rhonda, you want to go first?
Well, it's great for me because their high-tech equipment validates that what I'm saying is true, which really helps me. It helps me. As a psychic, you need that validation every now and then because you're like, is that, especially if you're not reading a person, you're reading a place. And then you're like, well, I'm not sure if that really happened. I don't know if I saw that right or if I'm getting this right, but they validate it. And especially with the historical research, when I'm reading the place and they're coming in like, yeah, you're onto something, continue. It really helps me. But I think the cross-validation between the two really improves the evidence that we get.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, and I think too, from the other side of the coin, from the traditional investigative research side, sometimes you get these random answers on ITC or these random EVPs or these random moments, and you're not really sure. You feel a connection to something, but you don't understand it. Having that psychic with you side by side that can do that has that mediumship ability and can connect and say, ooh, no, wait, go down this road, ask these questions. It just opens a whole nother door and elevates things to a whole nother level. And I think that's what is really we're finding to be breakthrough stuff for us is those moments and taking traditional experiments and then adding that flair and flavor to it, producing something that a lot of times people maybe haven't seen or experienced before.
Right. And that's interesting that you brought that up too, because even with Terry Lynn being sensitive, she's not like a exact title of hey, I'm a psychic medium, whatever, but her intuition is so we've always exploited that, when we're on investigations in the past. Absolutely. Even recently, we've always exploited that. So it's interesting how you talk about that being that other option that can steer you in certain directions of oh, hey, try over here, or let's go over here, and or go down this path, ask these certain questions. So that's pretty cool. And then you said, and then you got somebody like Christina, right, that is really able to get in there and analyze photos. So, and how important is that?
Christina?
For me, so many people these days are getting photos that just because they may have seen it on TV and it's got an orb flying through it, which I'm an anti-orber, I'll just tell you that now. It's being able to break it down and help people understand just because you got something a little different doesn't mean it's paranormal. It means you just don't understand what it is. It is bugs, water vapor, pollen, you name it, things like that. And it's not.
I don't care how convincing the photo is. Sometimes it's just New England tree pollen.
Yeah. I think it was a test, to be honest. Maybe it was an interview. Matt sent me a picture he was really excited about, and I knew he was an anti-orber. So I was like, he sent a picture of an orb. I got to dig deep. And when I analyze a photo, I look at the metadata. I look at the time that the photo was taken, the location where it was taken. I pull the pollen report, the insect activity, the weather reports for the time. I look at the camera and the lens that was used to look to see if there's any known anomalies with those cameras or equipment or anything like that. And I literally break it down pixel by pixel and blow it up and check it out. I mean, you can spend hours on one photo, but I'm able 99% of the time to explain it and find a reasonable explanation for what's in the photo. As in Matt's case, it's a beautiful photo of the local tree pollen.
And to set the stage for that photo, Al and I were in Boston. It was on our famous road trip we had last year. It was actually the road trip that really finally merged us with Rhonda and Nikita and Christina and really finally locked all this into place. That road trip was incredible. And that's a whole nother conversation. But Al and I decided, Rhonda and Nikita was smart. They decided that they were going to rest and do the intelligent thing. Al and I are like, no having this. We're going into downtown Boston. And we head into Boston and we got lost in the parking garage, literally walking the block like 3 times. It was a nightmare. We ended up in this little place called the Beantown Pub, which is directly across the street from one of the oldest cemeteries in the nation. Actually, Mother Goose is buried there, the author for Mother Goose, as well as Sam Adams. In fact, it's the only place where you can drink in Sam Adams while looking at Sam Adams' grave. So we walk over there and we're just looking at the cemetery and I'm just taking pictures because not for ghosts or orbs or stuff, but because it was cool. And it's, this old cemetery, right? So I'm just taking all these photos and we get in the car and we're driving back and I'm flipping through and one photo, not out of like the 12, one photo had this globe. I mean, this perfect spherical little ball. And I was like, I don't believe in orbs, but dang, that's really convincing, So I showed Al and I was like, dang. And then he had taken some on his cell phone. He had one picture that had an interesting anomaly. A tail. Right. And it was around the same time I took mine. So the thought was maybe we did capture something on 2 cameras, which would be more convincing than a single camera. So I'm like, I'm sending it to Christina because I want to know if this is maybe finally in all these years, we finally actually caught something that we can't explain, So I looked at as much as I could with my limited skills and was like, well, I'm a video guy. I'll tear apart video all day long. But I sent it to Christina and then she sends me this beautiful picture of this blown up, like scientific shot of New England tree pollen. And if you shrunk it down and overlaid it over my perfect little ball that I captured, it was a dead ringer match. I mean, she checked the pollen count. And it was the right kind of tree pollen, and it was like, okay, debunked. It is what it is. Yeah, it broke my heart. I just got to admit it. I mean, she just trashed me.
Yeah, it was really disheartening.
The great thing about what Christina does is I've sent her a photo that was taken at the Nickerson Sneed House, and she doesn't just say, okay, this is why it's not what it is. She'll say, okay, I don't know. I can't explain what this is, and this is why. Like the face, the matrixing, you said I thought it may be matrixing or smudges, but she breaks down what she thinks it could be, but then that's not what it is. So then she goes through everything and eliminates what it could have been, which it ended up not being, which leaves it as what is it?
Right.
Explain. But she'll go both ways, explain why it's not this, or well, I can't explain this because it's not all these things. But
in a sense, that's kind of what paranormal really is, right? I mean, it's just not normal. It's not easily defined. Yeah. Right. So I think
and certainly you're going to always try to knock down every possibility. And if you're left with, I just don't know, then usually that's where you can actually say this must be paranormal then.
Mm-hmm.
You, you can eliminate normal explanations, right? Yep. So
And we do, to this day, we actually very regularly get photos sent in from all over the country for Christina to look at. She, at least probably once a week, I would say, or once every 2 weeks, is breaking down photos. In fact, I sent her one today that we need to get into and look at. I've got a video clip, and I've already got an idea of what I think I'm seeing in the video clip and what the answer is. So I'm curious to see when she looks at the still shots if she comes up with the same. That's another thing we do. We kind of cross-validate that way too.
I looked at it earlier, and I feel I've got an explanation for that one too.
See, there you go.
See, and that's very important. Like, oh, go ahead, Al.
Oh, I was just going to say she's going to tear it down again.
But that's really good because, I think even recently on the previous investigation I did, I had this photo very Terry Lynn sent it to me. She's like, oh my God, she's like, you need to check this out. And it was very creepy, very creepy. And I sent a copy to Matt.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's this animal looking creature and looking in the window? It was very scary, very creepy. Yeah. But upon digging further, we ended up debunking it, which is what you're supposed to do. I mean, we could have ran with it. We could have just posted it and been like, yeah, look how scary this is. But in all honesty, it was like one of those gas tanks that the white cylinders with the rusted top. So the rusted top and the gas, just the way the angle was and looking through, and it just matrixed into this perfect looking creepy face. Classic pareidolia. Yep. Right. So it's always good to do due diligence, but also if you have somebody like Christina that is an expert in photography and things like that, all those really weird, questionable stuff, that definitely is super handy. And that's why I said with you having a team that's very well rounded, having the experience, having the spiritualists, having somebody that's a photography expert, even people that are even skeptical, even like Al's trying to find his way and trying to find what's going to work for things, and all of that comes together for a good team. And that's why we've always had a lot of respect for you guys since we've worked. Thank you. So one of your home haunts, the Nickerson Sneed mansion. So let's talk a little bit about that. You guys recently gave us the opportunity to actually investigate it. So we spent 2 nights in a row there. Myself, Terry Lynn, and my son spent the first night there, and then I went there alone the second night. So let's talk a little bit about that. What has your guys' overall experience has been at your home haunt?
There's a lot. I'm sure Rhonda is going to take the lead on this one, as it is her place, and she is gracious enough to allow this team to be housed there as our home base. I will say one thing. It's haunted. Very much so.
Yeah.
But Rhonda, you should probably jump in there first.
It has a vast, rich, and sad traumatic history. It was the main part of the house was built in the mid-1700s. Saw the Revolutionary War. The house that we see now, built around the cabin, was built in 1835. Saw the Civil War. It's just, there's been one of the families lost 2 children there. So it's just, the history is there, and then you've got all these other things, like you've got the crossroads, the ley lines, the water on the property, the limestone foundation. Everything you could possibly want to make it a great haunted place, it has it. And any phenomenon, haunting you could think of, like shadow people, sounds, apparitions, touching. It's all there.
Voices.
Yeah, it's all there. And it doesn't matter when you go, what time of day. I've experienced pretty much all of it.
And as a team, I mean, we've investigated there a lot. I mean, we've done stuff. We did individual experiments there when we first were kind of trying to figure out how to pair these two things together. We've gone as a team just doing the traditional research early on. In fact, the book that Rhonda actually wrote about or has done about the property actually features our very first case file. The actual case file is in the book. But we've experienced all those things there: disembodied voices, being touched, footsteps, shadow figures, feelings of being watched. We have captured some of the absolute best ITC evidence that we've ever captured have all come from there. It's a very haunted place. You do events up there, even with the ray chasers. So, I mean, it's a pretty cool place.
And honestly, Josh, when you were walking through the house by yourself, my husband and I were watching, and I said, no way. I said, there's no way I would do that. I would go through and cut the lights on, but no way I would walk around in the dark by myself. And I said, this is freaking me out just watching it. We ended up cutting off because it's just getting so freaked out. I'm like, what's going to happen? I don't want to see it.
I did actually. Now I don't want to give away too much, but I want to tease some people. But I did actually go down in the basement. I did live, and I actually turned the lights off during live. But then when I actually filmed later, I went down there with just me and the night vision camera and just stayed down there for, I don't know, probably a good 5 solid minutes or something, just in the dark. But I was down there in the basement too. So, but yeah,
and it's dark down there.
I don't like it down there.
It is dark down there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you can't see nothing dark down there. It's, yeah.
Now, and I don't know if you guys saw the comment that popped up, but when the first night when we were all three there, I know our son Christian, he got touched on the shoulder, right toward the end. Like right before we left, I think we were doing a spirit box session or something, and he had gotten touched on the shoulder, kind of freaked him out. He's not used to too much investigating yet. So, but
can I ask where you were when the touch happened?
Where do you think we were?
Were you in the kids' room or in the hallway between Betsy's room and the kids' room?
No, we were actually downstairs in the with the big table, in the original section with the fireplace, with the big table right there. Yeah, so we were actually at that table doing a session. So he had been touched. Again, I'm going to have a variety of things that happened to us, but I will share some things that we did get. I'm going over a lot of the evidence right now. We did have some EVPs. I know I had reached out to Rhonda and told her about two separate female entities that I made contact when I was there alone on the dowsing rods. And then when we were there the first night, we made contact with we were having trouble with energies. For some reason, every time we kept trying to do the dowsing rods at night, I don't know if it was just the three of us there and our energies, the excitement. I mean, who knows? But we were having some pretty wild energy fluctuations with the rods. And we did get out that there was a female there, but was curious, didn't need any help with anything. So I believe it was a separate third female entity versus the other two I came across the next night, because one needed help, the other wanted to pass a message. So the one from the first night just said that they were curious. Basically, when I started asking, like, do you need help? Do you have a message? Are you just curious? And then they were like, yes, So, but I didn't get too many details because, again, whether it was Terry Lynn on the rods or me, we just couldn't seem to quite get what we needed. And I think when I got on the rods, the energy was starting to get sapped at that point. So we had to kind of take a break and let the home kind of recharge, I guess you'd say, and then we started getting more some more stuff with the ITC, but yeah, there's some different activity for sure.
The reason I asked specifically where the touch happened is because being touched up there is a common thing. Rhonda will tell you a lot of teams that come through there report that, but I mean, I could talk from our personal experiences. One of my absolute, all these years, favorite pieces of evidence that we have, we're doing an ITC session, and our ITC's experiments are a little different than some. We remove our AM and FM antennas out of our boxes. We put them in Faraday bags, including the speaker. So the speaker and everything is in the Faraday bag. So we really limit. We subscribe more to white noise than we do radio snippet. And that's a debate in the ITC community, and I know that. But that's how we do ITC research. So we're doing that, and we've also got a camera going, and we're trying to capture EVP data as well. And we've got the EDI, and the EDI is, captures 5 points of data. So you got pressure, you got humidity, you got EMF, you got vibration, and it's recording all that data. Plus you have the visual that you're seeing. Right. So at the exact moment that this happens, Kevin says, I just got touched. And I said, for real? Are you serious? And he goes, yeah, feels like a hand, something touched my shoulder. And at that exact moment, we had a spike in EMF, a drop in pressure, a drop in temperature, and a spike in humidity. And at that exact same moment on our spirit box, I said, did somebody just touch Kevin? And it said, on the shoulder. Crystal clear, undeniable. That is a home run because that's 3 pieces of data culminating in that experience. Well, actually 4, because you had the physical experience that the investigator felt. So you had an investigator feeling something, ITC documenting it, and the environment actually physically changing while that happened. It's a home run. That's one of them trifecta things. So.
And see, and ironically, that's where my son was touched, on the shoulder.
See,
interesting. There's shoulder touchers there.
They are, yes.
There's they drained my battery in my night vision camera, not my new one, but I have a small little tripod one. This is actually pretty good. I got it right here. This little sucker right here is a nice little, believe it or not, little deal, and no big deal. But it's actually really good night vision. And man, I had like both batteries charged up, had the IR light on top of it charged up, put it on the tripod. Man, I don't know. I think I got 10 minutes, maybe. 10 minutes killed it.
Yeah, battery drain's a big thing up there.
Like, what the heck? So then I was like, all right, I'm gonna change batteries. I put like the laser grid. So I set it up at the top of the second stair, shooting down the hallway toward the front of the house. I set that tripod back there by the wicker chairs, and I had the laser grid shooting down there because I thought, maybe if anything down the hall or across that way, comes across anything, be a nice shot. And not only did it kill the second battery again, but it also killed the laser grid.
Wow.
So, and then the second night I was there,
I'm not surprised.
Second night, right? I charged both batteries back up fully, overnight, and had them all fully charged. Second night, I go to turn on the camera. You open it up, and it comes on, and would shut right off. Said low battery. What the heck?
Yeah.
Right off the gate, kill the battery. Put the second battery in, put it on the tripod. As soon as I got it opened up and got it, looking where I wanted it and hit record, already a bar down. I'm like, man, and then I got 20 minutes out of that. So they definitely liked whatever this battery.
Yep.
And the IR light didn't last that long either. That was on top of it. And normally by itself, it stays on, for hours. So definitely some battery drainage there in the house. That's for sure.
Whenever in there, I just plug my phone into the wall. There's no use trying to carry it around. I just keep it on the charger the entire time.
Yeah, I think next time if we go back, I'm gonna have to take the actual plug in the wall and find places to plug them into the wall and just be like, there you go. Take that. Of course, they'll probably just knock it over then.
We did have one get knocked over. It was a deer cam, a field camera. And it not only got knocked over when no one was up there, but you can also see at different, it'll snap shots. So one shot is sitting up, the next shot it's laying down facing one way. Then there's a couple of shots where it's facing another way, and then another way, like something actually moved it. Jake Fife actually got that on the deer cam, him and his dad, Chris.
Yeah, SRS Paranormal. Yeah, they're good guys.
Yeah, I love those guys.
Yeah, we I think it was really good the first or both nights, regardless whether it was us all together or not. Like I said, that first night we really went through a lot. I'm still sifting through stuff. I'd be curious to know what all I end up getting. I did end up getting some potential EVPs, possibly a name. I don't know if Reggie is anywhere, anything that sounds like Reggie. But I possibly got a name through the EVP, not through a spirit box, but an actual, EVP saying Reggie.
We've gotten Robert several times on EVP and spirit box. Robert is a common name that we seem to pull up there.
Oh yeah.
And it's so hard with these names because it was a Civil War hospital, so many people came through there.
Yeah.
And
well, I would imagine. You got to figure the home's 250 plus years old, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, But yeah, I mean, that's a
It's a
lot
lot of history.
of
Yep.
time. A lot of souls have passed through there, whether it's living, deceased, injured, traumatic, whatever.
Right.
Well,
A
and just
lot
the amount
of
of people, just the amount of people through there, not only when it was a house, but it had time as an antique shop. It had time as a restaurant. So that is something that, also deposits that energy constantly. I want to touch something. I saw you pop something up that Bob Fountain said a few minutes ago about entities coming through that maybe aren't necessarily related to the issues will come through because they know it's like a moth to a flame. Yeah, that's a phenomenon that we experience often, and not just at the Nickerson's Need, the NSH, but even in other places, like even in our Publix, when we do stuff at the Deary Inn and Tipton Haynes, that happens a lot. We get people not even connected to the property that have a message, and they bring those messages through. And we have documented some really phenomenal cases of that in our career, of where we've had undeniable proof of that. So
Right.
yeah, that's a phenomenon that absolutely happens.
Well, and that was one of the entities that I ran into was actually from the property. Excuse me, behind there, the property behind there, the hotel that's back there. One of the entities actually had deceased at that location. Now, Ron and I was talking about it, and even though there may not be a death for the hotel itself, obviously the property goes back
Sure.
very far too. So just because it was at the hotel, from what the entity said, doesn't mean it was actually the hotel.
Something I had neglected to consider when we were talking about that was I told you that was part of the Kincannon property and the Snead property and the Mason property. Actually, when they all owned it, it got divided up right before we purchased it. But that was part of the adjoint, that property. So at the time that the Sneads and the Masons had it, there was a stable set of stables back there where that house sits, that small house beside the hotel. So, I mean, it could have been something from there that could have happened.
And it's possible. I mean, and who knows? I mean, you think about it sometimes, and, what if there's just so much you could say, what if, but you just never know. It could even have been a woman that, for all we know, she could have been murdered at that hotel, put in a trunk, and taken somewhere.
And nobody knows.
Right.
Reported.
Exactly. But I will say, when she told me she was standing out by the tree, basically, it's like, especially when you're by yourself, and then your dowsing rod's like, I'm like, you're out by the tree, aren't you?
Yep.
At least you already know that, right? I mean, you already feel that. See, that's the other part. People don't realize that. And when you're really able to use rods, and at least in our experience, and Rhonda, Christina, jump in here if I'm wrong, but in our experience, the more you're in tune to those type of energy exchanges, it's like I can be standing there and one of them can be on the rod, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be yes, it's going to be yes, it's going to be yes, or oh, they're going to point over there to the, you just know, you just feel it. It's a very crazy thing. Oh yes, happy birthday, Chris.
Yeah, I'm glad Terry Lynn put that on there.
Terry Lynn.
Thank you.
Probably sing you happy birthday because you deserve it for making us look bad on our fan base there.
I know. Well, like Terry Lynn's like, oh my God, you need to get on Facebook right now.
Yeah. I mean, I really can't say that. Al and I screwed up. I mean, that's the bottom line, because we got a calendar. I mean, we know these things. We just dropped the ball, but I'm not going to let her off the hook that easy. I'm going to make her feel bad about it.
Look, sometimes I really don't even know what day of the month it is sometimes. Like, seriously, I just feel like, oh my God, it's already the 25th already,
Right now, it's such a crazy time. I can't keep up from day to day what it is. Is it Monday? Is it Saturday? Who knows?
Oh, I know. It is so crazy. Now, I will say, and Terry Lynn, if you want to hop in the chat or anything, if you want to talk about maybe some of the hot spots that you felt when you were there, because I know she was walking around and she kind of was, feeling certain spots. For me, and I think even she might have agreed also. But I know for me, one of the spots that happened to me both nights was at the top of those second stairs, the stairs toward the back, at the very top, right in front of that room,
They're
right at the top of those stairs. I kept getting like my jaw area would tingle, and my upper shoulders would tingle, and it kept happening to me every time at that one top of the stairs, both nights. So I don't know if that means anything. I think that was one of the spots that Terry Lynn also noticed, and I think she noticed a few other things too, a few other spots in the house. So we just wanted to throw that out there and see if there was anything that you guys could validate or say yay or nay, or if you've ever had anything there as well.
I will say for me personally, and I think I'd be curious to see what the rest of the team feels. I know Rhonda has a lot more stories because she's there a lot more than we are, even though we're there quite a bit. But for me, there's not a place there in that building that I have not had an experience in all the time that we've spent up there. And we have spent a lot of time up there investigating. And that's where we work on our stuff too. Like that's where we go to plan and talk and research cases, and sometimes it's also where we work on new techniques. So we do a lot of quote unquote experimentation up there,
right?
On our methods and fine tuning our stuff. But for me personally,
there is one room.
Do what?
There is one room I can say I've never had activity. The bathroom.
Yes, but I'm not in the long
every other
for now, Christina.
Every other room in the house, I have encountered some form of activity. Every single room.
Josh, the area you're talking about, the room right there off from that area, that's the room that we get a lot of unusual activity during Halloween when we're doing the haunted house. People report things that is happening in that room. I'm like, nope, that's not us. Oh, yeah. I mean, even seeing people that's not there.
I got pushed.
No, that's not like us.
Down in that room one night.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You were on that, Christina?
Did she break? Do you remember Christina? I felt so bad. I almost cried. I told Ricky, I said, I peer pressured her, and now I feel so bad.
I don't do scare houses, haunted houses like that.
Oh, no, you do very well. Yes, we enjoy it when you do.
Right?
Yes. I'm glad I could keep you entertained.
Yes.
We peer pressured her to go through the haunted house last year. And in that particular room, she got so scared at a jump scare. She had an owl by the shirt behind him like this. And the little guy scared her so bad, she pulled the owl down on top of him.
I actually think she tried to throw Al at the butcher, is what I think she was trying to do, but she was attached to him. So instead, they just both went to the floor.
I think, look, you guys know I went through the haunted house too, and I don't handle jump scares well. I mean, I can do real ghosts. I can't do fake. I can't do the jump scares, man. I went through there like a little girl. I'll admit.
Well, the best part of it was we told all the actors her name before we were in. They're all going, Christina. So that was freaking her out a lot. So
yeah,
interesting, Josh, you say that, because a lot of people I've talked to that are in the paranormal, and even our scare actors, which most of those are also in the paranormal, they don't like jump scares. They won't go through haunted houses, but like a haunted house on us, but they will go investigate.
Right. Exactly. That's weird. It's like I can go stay in that basement alone in the dark. But if I knew that it was a haunted house going on, like an active fake
like a kind of clown outfit was going to jump out.
Yeah, like I couldn't do it. I don't know. Even though there's a potential of an actual paranormal thing happening, it's weird. I don't know. But yeah.
I think I know why that might be though. It kind of makes sense because the paranormal, it happens and we see it and we know it's real, but there's that little bit where you can kind of rationalize it. When somebody comes out dressed as Freddy Krueger, That's pretty real. I mean, there's no rationalizing. This dude looks like Freddy Krueger. He's running at me with a knife. That's pretty real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a little disconnect when it's the paranormal side. I want to comment on something Terry Lynn had popped up there about the doll room. That's another room for us that's where the shoulder touch happened. That's also where when my wife went up there when she investigated with us very early on, many moons back when the team first started, she was touched there. Josh, one of our previous investigators that's not with us anymore, he was touched there. Gosh, I think everybody on the team. Was that where you had yours, Al, or was yours downstairs at the table? That one where we felt like something brushed you, like fingers.
Yeah, I think it was upstairs.
Was it in that? Yeah, I can remember. So that's a common thing, and we've also mapped stuff on the SLS by the piano and on that bed. That has happened more than once up there that we have mistakenly debunked as possibly being anything other than an anomaly that we absolutely can't explain.
I didn't get anything on the SLS. When I broke out the SLS the second night, I got a few erratic things, but nothing intelligent responded, so I didn't discount them, or I just discounted them all.
Well, we had actually 2 SLSs kept going and captured the same thing on both of them.
Oh wow!
With end of the line paranormal. So
I'll say just real quick on SLS cameras. I know that's one of them more controversial pieces of equipment, but I honestly think anything can be made into controversial piece of equipment. And I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a minute. I can't help it, but I think the thing with SLS cameras is if you do your due diligence and you have other markers, like, if I go through this room and something maps a figure and then I look in the room, I go, oh, there's a vacuum cleaner over there. And every time I sweep the room, a figure pops where the vacuum cleaner is. It's the vacuum cleaner. Now, if I come through this room and I do everything I can to recreate this anomaly that appears and I can't recreate it, well, there's a reason anomaly occurred, especially when I have an investigator experiencing something, a meter experiencing something, an EVP being captured. That second or tertiary piece of evidence coming in with that validates that experience. So I think people are sometimes too quick to dismiss something because they don't want to do the due diligence to verify. And you need to do that with everything. I don't care if it's an EVP, a photograph, whatever. You got to do the due diligence to be able to say, yeah, I can't explain that one.
Right. And sometimes I've found too that even things that don't make sense at the time may turn out something later. For example, we had gotten, I think, a response of like tree and things like that. But then the next night when I went there and I made contact with that one spirit and found out they were by the tree. So it makes you wonder if that previous night response was them trying to get our attention.
Absolutely.
And that's why I also wonder too if that's why I kept getting the chills at the top of those stairs, because as you guys know, the view to that tree
is right there.
Is out to the right.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's why I kept feeling those chills. I don't know if they were hung. Were they hung by the tree? I don't know. But I kept getting the jawline, like and the shoulders. I just thought of that. I'm like, wait a minute. Why would this be? Or maybe they were choked, or who knows. But every time it was the jaw, almost like when you have like a lemon, and you almost get that lock jaw. Mm-hmm. It was my jaw and my upper shoulders kept tingling really bad. That for me. And then I know Terry Lynn was saying that there was a few spots in the house. One was where that bathroom is downstairs. There's that little nook right there, or right before the bathroom. There was something there that she sensed, but
Could she tell what it was?
I don't know if she could tell. Could you tell what it was, honey? I think the spirits we contacted on the rods were all female, but I think she might have felt like a male's presence at the time.
There's a small little creature.
A little 3-footer.
Oh, really?
What?
The little 3-foot guy. The little black shadow guy.
I'm talking about like a cat or a dog in that little.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the little 3-foot guy.
No, not the little creepy guy. People have talked about seeing a dog or a cat. Do you have a dog or a cat in the house? Where they'll say, do you have a cat in the house? I'm like, no, but people have reported that. It's small and it's black. The first time I saw it, I thought it was a cat, but it's there all the time.
Yeah, and see, that was one of the first things that she had noticed when we walked into that room. She was like, whoa. She's like, something's right there. And then when I went over there, there was a temperature change. and then Terry Lynn just said, yeah, she thinks it was small. She's like, oh, OMG. So let me pop that up there for him. Hold on, there you go. But yeah, but now I did notice one thing she told me too, and I'm just kind of speaking for you, honey. I know, but I know she said that it was different. It was almost like something was kind of being shy and moving around. Other than the top of the stairs where I kept that was consistent for 2 nights in a row, the top of the stairs. And then, but there was times when both of us felt certain things, and she kept feeling certain things. But it was kind of moving around at times too. So, small. Hold on, I'll pop that up there too. Yeah.
When my daughter brings her dog up there, the dog plays with whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me think it's a small dog or something. She'll play with it.
Now we kept asking if on the rods if we were talking to a child, and we never got a confirmation on that. It was always a female, like I said. And the first one, because of the energies, and you might see that on the video as I kind of edit it together. We just didn't get enough information that night through the rods. But then the next night, like I said, I was able to get the older woman over 70 that never lived in the house. And she was related to Nickerson, and lived nearby. I think it was. She was over 70, lived nearby, never lived in the house, related to Nickerson, and wanted to pass a message to living relatives, like a positive message. That was that. And then the woman, I didn't get the age, but there was the woman that supposedly, I think, died at the hotel. And she was out by the tree. She wasn't in the house. Oh, the woman that was over 70, she said she was in the house by the office, I guess, in the back there. That's where she said she was at the time when I was communicating. And then the one woman from the hotel, she was out by the tree. And she said she died at the hotel. I didn't get the age, but she said she needed help with crossing over. Now, I generally don't do that because it's not my place to do that. I that's kind of how I feel. Yeah. But I did bless her and wish her well and to reach out, for so I did try to guide her at least
if that's what she wants. Yeah,
right. I try to at least send her in the right direction. Let's put it that way. So that was but that's what she wanted. That because I asked her, because I always try to find out what they want. Do you have a message? Do you need help with crossing over or something? Or are you just curious? It just depends on what they answer. It's like process of elimination, right? Yeah. So that was the two spirits, and of course, for those of you watching tonight, I'm going to be editing these videos together. I don't think I'm going to be able to meet tomorrow's deadline, though. I was trying to do every Friday, but there's just so much to go over. And I haven't even touched the evidence that much from when I was alone. I'm still combing over all the evidence from, me, Terry Lynn, and Christian. Sure. So there's just so much to go through. I haven't even, and he was recording with his camera, and I haven't gone through his, and we just got so much to go over. But that's why I'm really glad to have you guys on here and talk about the Nickerson Sneed and to kind of share and you guys are witnessing this. This is what we do in the paranormal community when we work together, to investigate some of the same places and share information of, well, what did you find and how does that compare? And sometimes some of the things that you guys bring up can validate what we've experienced, and some of the things that we bring up, just like even Rhonda was saying, was like, she was happy to get that information about those women because now she's got other spirits that she can research and see if there's any, links and things like that also. So it's just good to work together like that. So
right.
So what other experiences do you guys want to share about the Nickerson Sneed?
Al, you go ahead with your favorite. I know you're dying to.
Well, the I can hear you now, or I can hear you was my favorite piece of evidence. We were up there, and Kevin was talking. I was holding the SB7, and he goes, "If you talk, we can hear you." and the voice come through the XP7 and said, "I can hear you," and that was one of my favorite pieces. So.
And the coolest part about that is it's the exact same voice that 4 years earlier said on the shoulder. If you listen to those voices and compare their font and pattern on spectral analysis, it's the same voice. It's also the same voice that we've captured on multiple EVPs. Right. Undoubtedly, it's Dr. Sneed. We know it is. There's no question because he's identified himself as such, and I will forever believe that we have talked to him on more than one occasion. We know when he's there. And to answer Bob Fountain's question, yes, here at SRS, we certainly have gotten to that point to where we can very quickly usually tell we've got something we got to deal with here, or we've got something that we can really safely try to communicate with. I think, and I'll speak for myself, but I think the rest of my team would certainly agree. And I know Josh, you and I have talked about this. The more you do this, the more you get connected. The longer you get into this and deeper, the better that connection gets. And you almost truly develop an intuitive nature to where you are the best piece of equipment. You can spend $10,000 on gear, but is the absolute best piece of equipment that you bring to an investigation. Would you all not agree with me on that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And having equipment, though, does help.
Yes. And I love my toys. Don't get me wrong. We have spent more on toys than we could ever sell them for 10 times over. We would never get our money back. But but we love our toys. In fact, I got a new piece of equipment today that my team doesn't know about yet. But when we go up July 11th, we're going to do some stuff up at our homes there at the Nickerson's, need some new experiments. One piece of equipment we'll be playing with is the GS2 laser grid. My GS2 came in today, so
yeah, this was our new toy that we got to try out for the first time, and that is the Psionics night vision camera, color night vision.
Very cool.
Also the grayscale, but we got to use this little sucker, and this thing's pretty badass. Cool. So pretty excited for that. Absolutely. So you guys will get to see some of that footage. And like I said, just with like a little bit of a light assistance with that thing, man, it is so cool. Especially like with just, I still like the grayscale mode because it just mentally people need to see that grayscale, that black and white or something, for that night vision. But even just seeing the color effect, it's really cool.
Absolutely. So we shoot both in IR and full spectrum. We have some cameras that are full spectrum and some that are IR, and then we have some that we shoot in different layers of IR for like still cameras. So my God, you have my camera. But yeah, so we look at all those different things because there are things that will show up sometimes, anomalies in full spectrum that are not visible in IR or not visible with the naked eye. So we like to look at all those different pieces of the puzzle. But even with the full spectrum footage or the IR footage, when it's just like B-roll or just regular, even if it's something that's not going to be a visual anomaly, we still color grade that back to gray in post because it's visually more appealing than the purple or the green. And it just kind of resonates with that IR look of night vision footage. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, because it kind of messes with you when you like when I was watching for the evidence review, the color portions, it was like messing with my head. Like it looks like it's like maybe you don't have the greatest camera. But when you think about it, in night vision, it's great. Like great. But if
in the dark,
watching, you're like, man, it looks like he needs a new camera. Like, Josh, you need to update, buddy. But yeah, I mean, but no, it's cool. I mean, I love all the different little toys we've been getting and everything, and it really helps to get out there. And I don't always get to use all of them. I think we got to use quite a few when we did the Nickerson Sneed. It was fun. Again, we did get a variety of different EVPs. I haven't seen anything visual yet, I don't think. But again, we got the amazing dowsing rod sessions. I think even the first night when we were having the energy issues with the dowsing rods still had some good answers. some good responses mixed in there. So I just think that's always impressive for people to see that.
It's really cool for me to hear you talking about dowsing rods, because
Yeah,
I know that
is.
wasn't something that you really believed in. So
No.
I'm glad that was a positive influence that maybe we
Yeah.
kind of helped with.
I mean, I'm converted. I've definitely converted, and I definitely like to integrate those now. And it still blows me away when I'm holding them and they move, because I really try not to move them. I've got them. I'm like locked in. I'm trying to not let, and they move, and they respond, and they seem to give me. And even on the previous case I did at the Eaton house, you know, if you watch that, and I have the dowsing rod sessions, or session, there was a list of criteria that this spirit was like. They didn't live in the house. They were related, but not they didn't have the family last name. They lived in the same little holler, lived further up in the holler, and there's not that many homes there. All this criteria. And I'm just thinking, okay, is this thing really answering correctly? And then when I finally got to talk to the family, they're like, oh yeah, there's that's Lula. That's the sister of the wife, of course. So she didn't have the same family last name. She lived further up in the holler, and all these things and all the criteria lined up, and it just validated that session. I'm like, so,
Yeah.
so
I think they're a great tool. Like I said, I was a hardcore skeptic, and that's some of the things that Rhonda really introduced me to was this whole other side of the coin, the spiritual stuff. I mean, we do seances and boards, and we do all kinds of stuff, but yeah, and I think they're such a great tool, because even when the energy isn't really high in the room, they still can use those. And there's an easy tool for them to use. And I think that's why they work so well with people that are able to actually use them.
yeah, I think they're very sensitive. For obviously they were used for water sourcing and things originally, but I think that's because they're so.
Did you know that?
Yeah, I've heard there's still some modern day water companies, and I think that's really cool. I don't know if my luck though, I'd be out. See, I couldn't do that. I couldn't work at the water company and using dowsing rods, because I'd be having my own spirit sessions while I'm out. Instead of working, I'd be like,
the guy would be running around drilling holes, digging everywhere, and you'd be like, no, I'm just talking to this guy over here. You just do what you're doing.
You guys are looking for water. I'm getting yes and no's here, man. Oh, but yeah, but I am converted to dowsing rods. I do, but I think they're really amazing. And again, if I don't even know if it wasn't for my wife jumping on those rods at Tipton Haynes, because like I said, I let her do it, and then because I knew I could trust her, I'm like, all right, is it real or not? Is it bull? And when she was like, oh my God, you need to try. And then I still, for the longest time up until recently, just kind of stayed away. Like, I don't know if it was like, that's for the devil. I don't know what it was, but I'm just like, and then I started doing them, and it was, yeah, and it just blew me away. It did.
I wish I would have had a camera for the first time Al James used a set of rods, because it was like he's holding them, right? And it's like they start moving, and he's like, I mean, the look on his face was like, what the hell is happening here? And who's doing that? And he's looking around like, who's doing that? It's like, not us, dude. That's how it works,
Yeah, I know. And that's what Terry Lynn said about me too, was like the look on my face was just priceless and blown away. And it really is. And that's why I tell people, look, man, you got to experience it yourself, because there's never going to be enough skeptic or evidence for the skeptic.
No.
So no matter what, and I'm always still real skeptical on certain things, because I'm a believer. I believe in the paranormal, but for some reason, like yourself, man, and in Al and stuff too, everybody really is that there's a little bit of that skepticism on certain things, but I think that's what also makes us better investigators.
That's the balance.
Instead of just going in full guns blazing and say, yep, everything's paranormal.
Well, and I think even for the psychics, like for Rhonda, I know that sometimes, like she said earlier, that validation is just as important for her, because there's sometimes, even though she's gifted, I know she's very gifted, and she she sometimes needs that extra little, hey, yeah, Rhonda, no, you're on it 100%. You got it, because that's a human nature, that little bit of skepticism of I want to be sure. It's just like I heard this EVP, I play it back, I'm like, oh, I know that says dog. I'm like, hey, Al, what does it say? Hog. No, it doesn't. What does it say? So it's that need to have that little bit of validation. Hope to meet SRS team the next time. Absolutely, Bob. Absolutely, we'd love to meet you. That would be fantastic. I see you a lot on talking with Josh on his show, and I've read several of your articles over at Paranormal Underground. So,
yeah.
And actually, he had a question earlier that I wanted. I
Did I
wanted
miss
Matt.
it?
He said, "Has SRS encountered a case where the entity is so negative you prefer to never go back?"
yes,
So
more than once. Yes. But yes, I will give you 2 examples of that. One, I would definitely go back, but it was very negative. It's a local case, so I won't say where, because if the people wanted me to come back there, this was before these guys were with me, I would go back, but they're not living there now. It's a property that's adjacent to theirs. I would go back, but it is not a place I would want to go back. The second one would be for me, we've talked about it a million times, is the famous Hinsdale House in New York. We are going to go back because these clowns that I call a family think it's a good idea, except for the smart lady in the lower left and the smart guy in the center. The rest of the clowns that I run around with in my circus think it would be a really good idea to go there. So I love you clowns, by the way.
Unfinished business.
Yeah,
So,
I think, and I would probably say even for Bob Fountain there, like I know he had a bad experience with Bobby Mackey's. I don't know. I don't think you're not going back there, Bob, are you? So, but I know
I will say this: when we do go back to Hinsdale, because Christina's never been and Michelle has never been, and I think they want to experience that place, and Al really wants to go back. And part of me, in all honesty, is interested in going back, but I'm very, very apprehensive because of the experiences that we had there. The phenomenon that people talk about of losing time, being influenced, literally not being yourself, channeling energies that don't make any sense. These things that I had read about and researched and had read books on and heard theories about, heard other respected investigators talk about, but had never experienced. We all, Rhonda, Nikita, Kevin, Al, and myself, experienced personality shifts, time loss, and just really bad things that we had never experienced before. And to this day, there are still spots that are foggy about that. So, yeah, absolutely.
And that brings up a point. So, and I'll let you cover this, is how important is it for you all to know each other so you can identify when either all or parts of the team are being affected by those things?
I will start that off, but I know Rhonda and Al are both going to need to weigh in on this for sure. But I will start off with this part of it. I don't think we really fully knew what was happening to us. I don't think there was little hints, but I don't think it was until later. It wasn't until we were away from the environment that we really figured out how much was happening. There were a few red flags in hindsight that I wish we had caught with each other, but we just didn't. Would you guys agree that I don't think we fully realized what was happening to us during the case?
I agree. I think we were all clouded. I think in hindsight, looking at the parts that I remember, I'm like, oh my God, why were they doing like when that you become a little aggressive? At the time, it was like whatever, but then looking back on it after we left, like you said, it was like, oh my God, why? I would have said something, but you get kind of clouded there and really influenced.
Yeah, and it's a weird place too, because, and I know we want to talk about the Nicholas Need, but this topic came up, so I feel compelled to talk about it for a minute. But it's a weird place anyway if you ever go to Hinsdale House in upstate New York, because it's got this rich history, and it's one of them things that if you really go through the history, you find out that there's a lot of stories associated with the place that when you do your homework, you find out are folklore. They are not really connected to the property. So that when being a team like us that's very research oriented and heavily digs into that, we don't tell Rhonda and Nikita any of that stuff. We challenge them to get those things psychically. But finding out that a lot of the stories that follow that place were folklore and not rooted in fact, I think gave us a false sense of security. And it subconsciously let us lower our guard a teeny bit more than it should have.
Right.
And I think that was part of the problem. We were unprepared because of that. The sad thing is what's truly happening in Hinsdale, and the truth about the Hinsdale house, the true story of what happened to the Dandy family is terrifying enough. It does not need all the other embellishments to be a scary place. Yes, and that's absolutely correct. It is so important to know your team's personalities and personal health issues, 100%. And yeah, but you've also got to be careful for those things that catch you off guard. It was in hindsight going back and reviewing footage and looking at things and going, wow, what happened? I'll give you another great example. Al was focused on going to this place, obsessed, could not wait to get there. And he was just ate up with this place. We get there, we're doing a seance, we're doing this whole big part, we're getting into our groove of how we do our things. And like I said, we're unique, we do a unique approach, and we really do know what we're doing. So we're kind of lulled into that, I guess, a little bit too. That's the danger. And all of a sudden, Al's like, breaks the circle, and he's over here on Facebook, and it's like, what are you doing? This is the guy that we've got to drag kicking and screaming at the end of the night. Say, Al, look, dude, it's time to go home. Okay, we've been here like 12 hours. No, he's like over there. Am I lying, Rhonda? He's over there like, and you're like, what's he doing?
I've never seen him do it at any investigation before.
Yeah.
But and not only knowing the personalities and their health issues, but you got to be with a team that you trust that will, if they see something going on, they're going to stop it. They're going to pull you out. And if they need to, they're going to put you in the car and just fly away from the place. But you got to trust the people you're with too.
Right.
Absolutely. Michael also said that investigators could have low blood sugar. Yeah, those are all things that I think any team that really does their homework does a couple of things. You take care of your people. You take care of your protection before you go. You have your rituals and practices, whatever that is. If it's prayer, if it's crystals, if it's whatever that is, you have those things. You talk as a team. You plan as a team. You have an idea of what you're going to do. You research the location, and you stick together and you work together. And that's something that's developed over time. And when you're a team like ours that has done numerous residentials, hundreds of cases over the years, or investigations over the years, that's something that you develop, and when it's that or when something else is happening. And I'm here to tell you what happened to us at Hinsdale was not us. It was 100% influenced by what was happening at the site.
Now, I wanted to touch a little bit on when you were talking about defenses, right? Spiritual defense. And whether, like you said, whether it's a prayer or, whatever your ritual, your pre-investigation ritual is, things like that. Do you ever feel like you overprotected yourself to the point where maybe you're not even getting activity because you sort of put up so much guard?
Absolutely. Al, you can think of one cancer right off the top of your head that we did that at. A case where we overprotected.
I'm trying to think.
Saltville.
Oh yeah, the W.J. Stewart.
Yeah, the second trip. We were so geared up for what we'd experienced the first time. We really suspected or expected the next trip to be the same, and I think we overprepared for it. I teach disaster preparedness, and I stress watching over. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, 100%. Yeah, you gotta have your buddies back. I mean, that's and we truly are a family, and that's how we operate.
Yeah, and I think that's very important in a team, and especially in a paranormal investigation, because you just never know who's going to be vulnerable. I mean, I know one time I got taken over, so to speak, and I was a real a-hole to my wife for like 30 seconds or a minute or whatever it was at a gas station one time when we were house shopping, and I had my guard down. I wasn't even wearing my normal crystal. And we went to this older home, and apparently she says like an old man spirit or something. I guess I was just acting like some crudgy old man or something for like 1 minute, and I just, my face changed. It was scary.
Sure.
And then I had to like really have my own internal battle and just like, no, get off me. I had to separate. but it's crazy. You don't know. So it's good to, and especially with my wife having that ability to say, hey, this isn't Josh. I recognize this. She picked up something, versus just a normal person that may just think that Josh just being an a-hole. So she was able to recognize that and realize that. She's like, wait a minute, something's not right. And so with you guys being together, you can do that also.
Yeah, and I think it's something that teams should do. We even do team building stuff. We get together and do stuff that has nothing to do with the paranormal, and get together and share experiences as a team and as friends, and to build that, I guess, unity or team unity that's outside of the paranormal stuff, because you have to trust these people explicitly. And I think something we don't talk enough about in the paranormal. Here I am on my soapbox again. I'm sorry. I hate it. It just happens, right?
That's what we're here for.
But I think one of the things that we don't talk enough about is, and we were just talking about this over on our show that we just got off of about between 7 and 8 when we did our show, was that people don't think about the inherent dangers. This is not just thrill seeking. And I know, Josh, we've talked about this a lot. It is not just going out there and getting these experiences. That's great and that's fun. And I'm not knocking it. We all start there. But there are real inherent dangers in what we do. We are asking unseen, unknown forces to communicate with us. We are opening the door to a whole host of things that if you are not mentally prepared, spiritually prepared, totally prepared for, there are unforeseen consequences, unintended consequences. I have dealt with, and Hinsdale was the factor. I had an attachment from Hinsdale. I almost left paranormal for a while because of what I dealt with when I came back. My wife and family will tell you I was horrible when I came back. I was not me. My coworkers at work told me the same thing. I had to deal with that. Rhonda's had to deal with an attachment issue from a case. More than the usual, she says, Josh.
Yeah, more than the usual a-holeness.
So, I mean, at least there's a measuring stick.
Right? You got to set the bar.
But I mean, Rhonda, I hate to put you on the spot there, but I know you've dealt with it. I mean, it's a real thing. And if you do this long enough, it is something that you very well may experience and have to deal with.
Well, and the thing is, you don't recognize it in yourself. Other people will say, what's the deal? What's going on with you? And there were still, there were blank spots that I don't remember. And those blank spots, they will say, well, you were acting like this. Now, this is after the investigation. This is months later at my home and with friends and family. And there was blank spots. But it was after leaving Brushy Mountain. We did that in November. It took me till March to shake it, to get rid of whatever it was.
Yeah. And it's, like I said, it's very true. You can't always see when you're in the woods, right? You can't always see when you're in the woods. So
you can't see the forest for the trees, right?
Exactly. And, and it can be a little scary when somebody has to point it out to you and you're like, oh my God, because you always think, oh, I got this. Like, and my defenses are normally on point in all my experience. Some of the investigations I've been on and things always have been, it's rare, but it happens. I don't think you can go through this being an investigator without at some point being affected by an entity.
Absolutely.
I think at some point in your career, at least once, but maybe even more than that, you're going to be affected by an entity at some point because of how close and much we interact, like you said, Matt, with these forces, these supernatural forces, and we have no idea what the true limitations of those may really be. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely some scary stuff. So we'll cover some more questions here. I don't want to keep you guys all night long. I think we've had some great conversation tonight, really.
We always do.
I know. It's, we probably could have a 3-hour show or more, who knows. But one of the things, and I'm going to throw a couple questions your guys' way. One of the questions, and I love stealing this from you guys, is your ghost outfits. Right? We got to share what your ghost outfits are. And I make sure I'm not letting you off the hook, man. I don't care if that guy was a father or not. All right. You got to ask. All right.
I know. I did ask him, though. I finally did ask him.
Matt's like, I don't know if I should ask that. I don't know, Josh. I'm going to ask. I know he's trying to put me on the spot. but you got to do it, man. That's your thing now.
I know. And you called me out on it. I was like, dang, I got to do it now. Yeah. And he was cool about it, which was good. I was like,
he had a great answer.
I was afraid, he's a cool guy. He's super, man. Both him and Bishop Long are fantastic people. I really encourage everybody to follow those guys, and they really have given their life to service and truly helping people. And that's the kind of people, as you know, that we like to be around. But so, yeah, have at it, Josh. I'm ready.
Yeah. So, all right. So, well, actually, I want to hit one more thing real quick because you just said that. I think it's cool anytime you get members of clergy that are open-minded enough to work with paranormal folks and people in need. And I think one of the questions I asked him was about helping people of all faith, because, that's certainly something that you don't want to see them just shun everybody like, oh, you're not Catholic, or, oh, you're not,
Yeah.
And his answer was great. So you guys need to go. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to cheat for you guys. You guys out there, go watch the show that they just did on SRS Paranormal's Facebook page or their YouTube. They're simultaneously streamed just like me. So go back and watch that show. And that guy was
gathering.
What was his name again?
That was Father Casey.
Okay, yeah. So, but yeah, definitely go watch that. It was a really good show. I was there for that.
Josh.
So you guys go watch that. But anyways, his answer was great. So let's get to the ghost outfits. Whoever wants to start, what would you wear if you die and you come back as a ghost and somebody snaps a photo and catches you in that apparition photo, that full apparition? What clothes are you going to be wearing?
I'm letting somebody else go first. I've talked too much.
All I can say is there will be no underwire involved. I am going for strict comfort.
Okay. So she's going to be dragging a ball and chains.
I'm probably in sweatpants, honestly.
Sweatpants.
Sweatpants, yeah.
The casual
clothes can be, right?
Casual.
Al?
We'll save you for last. You want to save you for last? Because, I mean, yours is good. So
I know what he's going to say. I know what he's going to say.
Yeah, I know you do, right? So that's what I'm going to save his for laugh, because everybody will crack up when he says it. But for me, I'm going to have to go with like the Grim Reaper or like the It Clown, something really scary, because I want to like really freak people out. Like they're going to see like this horribly scary thing. And I'm going to be laughing the whole time when I'm scaring them, because they're going to be like, they're thinking they've just seen like the worst thing ever.
So you're going to go imitation horror movie.
Oh yeah. I'm totally harmless, but they would not know that. All they would see is this really horrifying figure, and they would be like convinced they just saw like something straight out of The Shining, or, the It Clown or something horrible. And they would talk about it forever, and everybody would try to debunk the photo, and it would be awesome. So it would just be me still in the spotlight again.
Yeah, I need to come back horribly. Like, I need to come back. They can't. They're not going to. I don't know. I'm going to have to come back like either just wear 100% dark, because I'm afraid. Honestly, I'm afraid of mistaken identity. I think I'm going to come back and they're going to think I'm like Kevin James or something. So they'll be like, "Oh my God, it's the ghost of Paul Blart, mall cop or something." So,
but that's awesome, man. If you could learn the voice and do like an EVP of that, dude, that would be like stellar.
Al, so what are you going to do?
So you're coming back as a ghost to scare people, right? I'm just going to be naked. I mean, if I'm going to scare people, I'm going to be naked.
That's going to be a white ghost, isn't it? It'd be like one of those glowing white ghosts.
Yeah. True Casper, like all the way.
You come into the world naked, you leave the world naked, right?
And you haunt the world naked, by God, right?
You haunt the world naked.
Oh, goodness. Now, I will say, all right, so, and then Terry Lynn said, amen, Krista and Rhonda. Wait, no, you laughed out loud at Al. I hit the wrong one. See, y'all made me miss the wrong one. There you go. So,
Al did leave you with a bad visual. I can totally. Damn it, Al.
Yeah. So now I got to get to my question that I like to ask everybody is, if you could go back in time for one day as a ghost. Okay, you can't affect anything. You can't change anything. You're just a ghost. You're going to be observant. So if you can go back for one day in time, when would it be and why?
That's easy. That's easy for me. Civil War.
Okay.
I don't know. I just love that time period. Just going back and actually seeing if it really seeing if the way we've told the story of all the history of the battles, if they actually were as long and drawn out as they were, if camp life was what it was like for the soldiers. I don't know. That's just a period of time that has always fascinated me.
Right.
That, or like I've told you before on the show, my other favorite one would be like you going back and seeing the pyramids built. How did they really do it? Did they really have 40 people pulling a block, or, I don't know, was there little green men sliding them up the slider?
Or a giant?
I don't know. I want to see what happened.
Yeah. So you're going with either pyramids or seeing a guy take a cannonball to the face. Good choice. All right, Al.
Hey, I'm a diverse guy. I like lots of stuff.
The bloodiest war in history, Matt's got a front row seat. All right, I want to see some action now. But no, it is really interesting, and I don't want to get into this whole. Okay, yeah, I don't want to get. There's a whole thing I can tell you on that, the Civil War. But yeah, Al.
So we're just witnessing an event that happened.
Right. Which is just a day in history, one day.
All right. I would probably go back to the Kennedy assassination because
good one.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I don't believe.
No, you're just a nudist.
I don't believe that happened the way that they portray it to happen. I think something else went on there, so that's probably the day I'd go back. I don't know.
I think that's a really good answer. And I think the Kennedy assassination, you don't have to be a conspiracy type of person. That crosses all divides, I think, because it's so huge that, I mean,
it's a massive moment in history. I mean, it's a single moment that profoundly altered the course of a lot of things. So yeah, I think that's a great answer personally. I'm kind of sad that I didn't have that answer.
Rhonda, how about yourself?
I want to know, this has been something I've pondered for years and years and years. I want to see who actually killed the Bordens. I want to see if it was Lizzie.
Damn, another good answer.
Rhonda.
I thought I knew my team, but man, they're like,
I think it was her, but I want to be sure.
That's definitely interesting, because I mean, a lot of people just definitely for sure, but then there is a little bit of controversy to it, isn't there? Mm-hmm. So that would definitely be a good answer. I could see that.
If you ever get the chance to go ahead, Al. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Matt.
I was going to say, if you ever get the chance to go to Fall River, Massachusetts, and tour the Lizzie Borden house and hear the historians tell you the story and see it exactly the way it was when it happened, we had the pleasure of doing that on that killer road trip, and you get it. I mean, I'm not saying what she did was right, but there's a lot to that story. It'll really make you think about contextually what life was like in that time period and for that family, and it's a very fascinating story.
You leave her with the overwhelming feeling that she done it, no doubt about it, but maybe it was, there was justification for it. Maybe, I won't get into the details because you do learn.
It really makes you think. I mean, it really does make you really look at because they show you evidence from the crime scene, photos, they show you artifacts, they tell you the whole story of everything that was going on, not just in that house, but in that community. And man, you really connect with that story. I mean, Ron, I know you did too, because we talked about this a lot on the 47,000 hour drive home.
But they had the couch there that she killed Andrew on. And that's a surreal feeling to be looking and sitting on the couch that after you see the crime scene photos, I've seen them for years, but to see them actually there on the table, to be in the next room with the couch. Yeah. And you really empathize with her though at the end. I mean, I've always thought there was more to it than that, and I always thought that there was justification, but you really empathize with it when you hear the entire story during the tour. But Yeah, you definitely, if you get the chance, you need to go.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many places on my list I would love to go. Because I mean, if you just look at just God, there's so many, and then just when you think like, oh yeah, I got a few checked off, man, there's just so many. I want to go. I want to get to Europe. There's so many places in Europe, man. Oh my God, the history. There's even places in the Middle East I would love to go because of the history.
Sure.
God, Egypt. I mean, there's so many places. But Christina, we don't want to forget about you. So where
She
we
was hoping.
go?
I could see it.
I like the history of our country. I would love to actually observe the signing of the Declaration of
Nice,
Independence.
nice, and that's very crucial nowadays. That's for sure. Yeah, I think that would be a good one to see. Just witnessing that history alone, I think would be chilling. It would be really cool to see something like that. I don't know. Like Matt did kind of expose my other one, which was like a day in the building of the pyramids. That's always been my favorite. I think one of the other ones that I've heard before that's pretty interesting too would be like a day of maybe even kind of witnessing Tesla, going through some of his like notebook or something, and just kind of seeing the mystery behind Tesla as well,
Or sitting in at the White House with the Lincolns at a seance, since Mary Todd Lincoln did seances. I would personally think that would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Or the night that 6 people got murdered at the Villisca Axe murder house.
Wow.
You want to witness the murder or just
Well,
see it?
nobody, they don't know who done it. So, yeah.
I was just seeing if I was the most gruesome one in the group or not. I was just testing the waters.
No, I want to see Lizzie hatch up her parents. So.
Well, you did.
What does that say about us three? Hey, Chris,
right.
Signing of the Declaration.
Man, I think we're on the dark side of the coin here.
Got some bloody stuff on the list there.
Yeah.
Like, Jimmy Hoffa, right?
Good one.
Oh, yeah.
They picked him up in the car, things like that, right? That's one of the unsolved mysteries. I think you could pick, there's some definitely good unsolved mysteries that you could probably go through and be like, that one moment, that one crucial moment that we don't know about, one day.
I would like to go back and watch Bill Buckner lose the series again for the Boston Red Sox, because being a Mets fan, I would absolutely love to see that moment in history again, the 1986 World Series, but that's all my story.
Poor Bill Buckner, to watch him suffer through that again, Matt, that's horrible.
I know, but I'm that kind of guy.
Well, one thing I want to take a quick moment to talk about is, I do want to talk about that this episode is sponsored by the Paranormal Underground magazine. Guys, if you don't have a subscription to this magazine, guess what? You're in luck, because you can go and contact them, send them an email, and you know what? Just mention the show, and you're going to get a year for free of digital copy of the Paranormal Underground magazine. And SRS Paranormal, you guys are a little keen to the Paranormal Underground magazine because you guys were recently featured on the cover of it, right?
We were, with an in-depth investigator spotlight, thanks to those folks over there. So Cheryl Knight and Bob and all them. So great people. You can go back and still purchase that issue. You actually can get it digitally, or you can purchase a print copy. You can order one of those. We have a few of those ourselves. But yes, that was a great honor to get to actually be featured on the cover of their magazine. Yeah,
and it's a great magazine. I mean, it's not just some newsletter. It's not just some, it is a full-blown HD magazine, guys. You definitely got to go check it out for sure. And like I said, go back and look for the episode where you have SRS Paranormal. Guys, as we start to wrap up, what do you guys got lined up for the future? And I know that you guys are also responsible for, you're going to be putting on a big paranormal convention. It got moved. Obviously, it was going to happen this year, but it's going to be coming up. So tell us a little bit about that and what you also got coming up in the near future.
Al, you want to tell them what we got coming up? Josh knows somebody's going to be with us.
Well, yeah, July the 18th, we're heading up to Lawrenceburg to do the Anderson Hotel. We've been trying to get in there for a couple of years, and we finally got permission to do that one. Of course, Josh, you're going to be with us August 14th and 15th. when we go to Hell's Bar Dam and Old South Pittsburgh Hospital. And then we're heading up to Indiana September 27th to Randolph County Infirmary. So we're excited about that. Those are 4 awesome locations.
And we're also doing Stone Mansion while
Stone
we're
Mansion
I'm going up to Randolph County.
Winchester, Indiana, yes. So, and then we've got our public events in October. We may schedule some, hopefully, before that at some other locations, but we do have 3 in October at Tip and Haynes in Johnson City, Tennessee. So,
Taylor says he's not as bloody as we are. Yes, we also, Rhonda and I are working on a project that involves the team that we're going to be hopefully releasing in the next couple of months. We won't say much about that, but keep an eye out for that. I think people will enjoy that. Something that we've been working on for quite a while. That's been a great project that we've been involved in together that I think the team is also going to be very proud of. So keep an eye out for that. I won't say much more unless Rhonda wants to elaborate. That's totally up to her. But
well, no matter what it is, you can not, if you missed the announcement on there, we'll announce it on our social media too, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe I do. I'm not telling. But regardless, I don't know. But whenever you guys launch it, do whatever it is, you guys can count on us supporting it. So you can always find it here too.
Rhonda, do you want to say what it is or you want to hold it?
We can say what it is.
Oh, go for it.
We are doing a collaborative book about our investigations. So.
And our journey and how we got to where we are. So,
yes. So you heard it here, folks. A book. You guys, oh my God. So we're definitely gonna plug that and try to help you guys with that for sure. We got to do some book signings, man. We're gonna have some fun.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah, I know you. I've got your book. I've read it. It's a good book. People need to make sure to pick yours up. And Rhonda has authored many books. That is what she does. So it does help to also have a talented writer amongst us as well. So
yes. Well, I will definitely be
and she's letting me co-author this with her, which is, I don't know if that's smart or a mistake. She hasn't really decided yet, but we'll see how that goes.
I hope you got a good editor, Rhonda.
I do. I have a really good editor because my writing, I get the ideas down, but the punctuation and the verbiage.
He was totally throwing off on me. I'm glad that you have the same issue with that as I do. Apparently.
It looks like a paper you get back in grade school that's all marked up with red. I'm like, oh my God. Because when they correct, they put it in red.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different color, but no, it's always in red. So I'm like, oh no. It goes back and forth several times before it's ready.
So we're hoping in the next couple of months to have that project completed. We're working actively on that. And that's a big thing that we've got going on. Another big thing is the Hexpo, which, Josh, you're going to be one of our special guests there. I'm hoping that you'll do your show live. I don't know if we'll get to do our show because we will obviously be busy. The Hexpo is going to be a paranormal event like none other in Asheville. We will have some major A-list paracelebs there, like Josh Morris, and then some that you may have seen on TV as well. So we'll have a lot of cool people there, and of course us. So what more could people ask for? No, I'm just kidding. We'll have Amy Bruni. We'll have Chip Coffee. Gosh, who else we got coming, guys?
Hey, I wonder, and this is just me on the spot thinking, but I wonder if we could do a thing where maybe we could set up like a StreamYard there where we do like we do a stream for you guys and I do a stream for my channel at the same time and I just host it for you guys. And so it's like, you know what I mean? And we do like these live coverage throughout the event.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like me hosting it for you guys and also going to my channel at the same time. I don't know. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip on this.
I'd like it.
Because instead of just me streaming straight to mine, like maybe we could do something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would totally be down for working something out with that. I think that'd be great. Yeah. Who else we got coming though, guys? I know I'm
Joe Chin.
Joe Chin.
Yeah, Joe Chin's going to be there.
The Bishop Long will be there.
Yeah.
Gosh, we got several cards. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know what's wrong. All of a sudden, I'm like,
and you can go to
some of the zombies.
What is it? Is it
Thehexpo.com. Yep.
.com.
Tickets
Yeah,
are on sale now, so please buy tickets. If you like it. Yes, Chip Coffee will be there. Chip's actually going to host a gallery reading, which is an add-on ticket event. That will be something that he will be doing, which is an add-on ticket event. You have to have a ticket for Hexpo and a ticket for that. We're also going to be hosting a celebrity ghost hunt. The details of that will be coming out later. But that is an add-on event that we will also be hosting. So, yeah, there'll be some cool stuff. We've got a bunch of other celebrities that I know that are on the site that we're forgetting. But like I said, we did our show and now we've done this, and my brain is mush. So please go over to thehexpo.com and check it out and see who we got coming.
Now, I did have a question on that. Is tickets for sale for the upcoming show next year? Is it
Yes.
the ticket? So the tickets, you can go in there and start.
Yep. You go to thehexpo.com. You can purchase tickets right now. They're live on Ticketmaster. The add-on tickets are live through our link, through our Square account for the add-on events. So yeah, they're all live now.
Awesome, guys. So yeah, definitely go out. If you're going to be in the Asheville, North Carolina area next year, would you say April, right?
Yep.
Get your tickets, folks. Go out, get them now. Go to Ticketmaster and Hexpo the Gathering because it's going to be an awesome event. I'm excited. I was looking forward to it this year. The shitty coronavirus screwed everything up. I'll say that.
Brother.
So, man, I can't wait. So, but guys,
just wait. September is Yellowstone, so it's all good.
Yellowstone.
Yeah, it's going to blow up. Jellystone or Yellowstone. The super volcano is going to go, and it's going to be what September brings us.
Oh,
You see the meme on Facebook with the truck on fire saying that this is July.
Yeah, and I saw September today was literally the super volcano at Yellowstone Park was what they were showing the calendar, and that's what they had for September. So I literally saw that meme today. You gotta laugh. I mean, what else can we do at this point? I mean, we got 2020 has been a nightmare.
Maybe somebody misread the Mayan calendar.
I've heard that one too. Yeah.
They're just off by a few years, no big deal. Oh, I don't know. But yeah, guys. So listen, SRS Paranormal guys, these guys are amazing. They are my, Terry Lynn and I's second family.
Likewise.
We just absolutely love these guys and love everything about them. We've worked together and we've been trying to set the bar for paranormal unity. So we want to set that example for other teams to work together. And we're always trying to network out and get other teams. So if you're a team that's out there and watching this and you want to be a part of that pack, part of that family unity, reach out. We certainly want to build that. I know that, you guys also enjoy Paranormal Brew and the End of the Line Paranormal. Some of these other people are amazing people and that share that same views, because we have to work together to really solve these riddles. If everybody just keeps their findings and they keep their work to themselves, we're never going to have enough data to really prove things. But we definitely want to thank you guys for being here, for sure. Again, I'm really glad to always have you guys on, and I want to thank you guys again for letting us investigate your home haunt. Certainly, I definitely want to go back in the near future to do some more. It was definitely fun, and I still look forward to coming through all the different evidence. So,
looking forward to seeing what you got up there, comparing notes on some of the stuff we got.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
welcome back.
And thank you for that. But guys, go check out SRS Paranormal, like, subscribe, do every single thing that you have to for their social media because they deserve it. And they've got amazing things coming up and projects. And I know they got other projects coming up. We all have projects that we've been working on. So you guys definitely need to hit those notification bells, hit those alerts, That way you can see when they go live, because they go live, guys, like every Thursday, sometimes Fridays, around 7, 8 o'clock time frames. You got to check out their show. It's great. They have amazing guests. Half the time I'm getting the guests that they have because they got amazing guests. So check them out. And remember, guys, seek the truth. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for having us, Josh.
Thank you.